started with a pot plant. My friend had received a small, droopy fern as a gift, and for months she watered it faithfully, but it seemed beyond saving. It stayed limp and dry, and its color fading to a dull brown. And eventually she gave up. She moved it to the corner of a balcony where it would die in peace. But then one morning, months later, while sipping her coffee, she glanced over and noticed a small green shoot, tiny, almost invisible unless you looked closely. It hadn't bloomed overnight or with any drama, but there it was, a fragile sign of life. And she moved the plant back into the sunlight and began caring for it again. And now it thrives. Sometimes resurrection looks like that. Not lightning from the sky, not an angel choir, just a small, unexpected sign that life is quietly, stubbornly returning. And that's the feeling we find in Luke 24, verse 1 to 12. A quiet resurrection unfolding in the background of sorrow. Read with me. On the first day of the week, very early in the morning, the women took the spices they had prepared and went to the tomb. They found the stone rolled away from the tomb, but when they entered, they did not find the body of the Lord Jesus. While they were wondering about this, suddenly two men in clothes that gleamed like lightning stood beside them. In their fright, the women bowed down with their faces to the ground, but the men said to them, "Why do you look for the living among the dead? He is not here, he has risen. Remember how he told you, I will still with you in Galilee. The Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again." Then they remembered his words. When they came back from the tomb, they told all these things to the 11 and to all the others. It was Mary Magdalene, Joanna, Mary the mother of James, and the others with them who told this to the apostles. But they did not believe the women because their words seemed to them like nonsense. Peter, however, got up and ran to the tomb. Bending over, he saw the strips of linen lying by themselves, and he went away, wondering to himself what had happened. Resurrection often starts in silence. The tomb was already empty when the women arrived. No dramatic moment of Jesus bursting forth in victory, just absence, just mystery. The miracle had already happened quietly and invincibly, somewhere in the dark, hours before dawn. Isn't that how resurrection often enters our lives? Not with fireworks, but in the silence, often after heartbreak. It's in the slow healing of pain, in the shift of perspective that allows hope to seep in again. It's in that moment you realize, I don't feel as heavy as I did yesterday. Now the women in this passage come to the tomb in grief. They carry with them spices in honor of the dead, not to welcome the living, but their faithfulness is rewarded. They become the first witnesses of resurrection, not because they understood, because they showed up. Now, where in your life have you been showing up faithfully, not knowing that resurrection is already at work? Maybe you've been praying for a child who seems distant from God. Maybe you've been battling an old addiction, not sure if change is possible. And maybe you've been sitting in the quiet ache of loneliness, wondering if joy will ever return. What if resurrection is already underway, but you haven't seen the green shoot yet? And so we read that they remembered his words. And that moment in the story is so powerful. The women were confused until the angels reminded them of what Jesus had said. Then they remembered. Memory becomes a portal to resurrection. Now, sometimes we don't need new information. We need sacred remembering. Resurrection often calls us to recall what we know to be true, even when circumstances try to tell us otherwise. That God is faithful, that nothing is wasted, that new life always comes, though never in the way that we expect. And then Peter ran to the tomb. Now, he didn't understand either, but something about the woman's words stirred in him. His curiosity outran his doubt, and that was enough. Resurrection faith doesn't mean having it all figured out. It means being willing to move beyond the mystery, to bend down and to look closer, to wonder again. And that's the invitation to us, to run, not with perfect clarity, but with just enough hope to believe that the story might not be over. Now, where in your life is resurrection happening quietly? Is it in a relationship beginning to soften? In a desire for prayer returning after dryness? In a surprising peace amid uncertainty? And in the courage to try again? The risen Jesus often meets us not in the blaze of glory, but in the garden, the quiet road, the empty space where we thought life had ended. Can we stay awake to the small signs? Can we believe that something green is growing beneath the soil of our sorrow? And can we trust that God's most powerful work often happens in the secret until one day we notice the stone is rolled away?